Mentioned, we go back to one of our leading stories this afternoon, where the Eastern Cape Police are continuing the search for suspects after 17 people were brutally killed in a mass shooting in Ngobozana near Lusikisiki. Reports suggest that members of the same family had gathered at two homesteads preparing for a cleansing ceremony when they were attacked in the early hours of Saturday morning. Now, the motive for this attack remains unknown at this stage. I am joined now by Khuselwa Ranjie, who's the Eastern Cape Premier's spokesperson. Khuselwa, good to have you on the program despite the circumstances. Firstly, how has Premier Oscar Mabuyane and the provincial government formally reacted to this Lusikisiki tragedy? And what message do they wish to convey to the community as well?
Good afternoon to you, Nhlanhla. Good afternoon to your viewers as well. As the Eastern Cape Provincial Government, Nhlanhla, as you can imagine, we are all shocked, saddened. I think we can find even stronger words to describe how we are all feeling as a province at this moment. It has been a bit of a dark cloud on a Saturday morning when we heard this news that there are about 17 people in Lusikisiki that have been shot and killed in this manner. It's a very shocking and tragic incident, not only for those families, but for the rest of the people of the province. And as government, we are really calling on communities to assist the police in the processes of investigating this tragic incident such that we can, in no time, ensure that the perpetrators of this heinous violence are found and are dealt with through the systems of the law. And further than that, it is to really call on communities to assist broadly in instances of crime management, prevention of crime in our communities. You would understand that this incident happened just a day after the Minister of Police, as well as provincial government and the municipality of the Nelson Mandela Bay municipalities, together with civil society, signed a cooperation agreement binding themselves to work together in managing crime and in intervening in issues of crime in our province. And we are furthering this call to even outside the Nelson Mandela Bay, because it's something that is required throughout the province. We have said time and again that the matter of managing crime and ensuring that we root it out of our communities requires more than just government to react to incidents, but it requires communities to work together with government to ensure that these incidents are prevented.
Let's speak to that. In light of the recent violence, what specific or immediate actions has the Office of the Premier implemented to really enhance the safety and security of residents in places like Lusikisiki?
Nhlanhla, you would recall that this incident also happens at a time wherein the police minister had deployed additional resources to the provincial government. And already we are seeing that those resources are, we are reaping the fruits of having those resources in our province. And we continue as the provincial government to call for such resources, such that in the event that there are instances of this nature that have occurred, we have both technical and tactical, we are able to respond technically and tactically to such incidents. Additionally, we are continuing to say that beyond the specific intervention, there's a need to look into issues of crime in the province, because you would find that whether you're talking issues around murder, whether you're talking issues around cash in transit, whether you're talking issues around extortion, the province, you will find it high in the list of those provinces that are badly affected by this. And therefore, there is a need to continuously look into strategies that may be implemented in our province, understanding that we are really a rural province, and therefore how you deal with crime management in the Eastern Cape may not be exactly the same way that you deal with crime management in the Western Cape. We need boots on the ground. We need resources that would be able to meet the kind of criminals that we're dealing with at their level and ensure that they are dealt with, and when they are found, those cases are investigated and the perpetrators are dealt with thoroughly by our criminal justice system.
Khuselwa, as we wrap up our conversation, I want to continue with that thought. Are there long-term strategies that the provincial government is considering at this point to really prevent similar tragedies and restore a sense of security in Lusikisiki?
Yes, and the agreement that I referred to earlier that has been signed with the Nelson Mandela Metro is just a first step of what we want to see in the province. We'd want to have that agreement extended to the areas like your OR Tambo, your Alfredsburg district municipality, because what it brings is essentially what we want to see, wherein government at a national, provincial and local level, they work together, they bring their resources together, utilizing the principles of the district development model to ensure that all of society, indeed, we are all seized with the issue of managing crime. So we are hopeful that in the coming months, this kind of cooperation agreement will be extended to the area of OR Tambo as well as the area of Alfredsburg, such that together as government and society, we can continue to manage crime. But in the short term, really the deployment of resources is what the Premier, Lubabalo Oscar Mabuyane, is continuously discussing with the Minister of Police to make sure that police in our province are adequately resourced to deal with these matters, including when necessary, the deployment of resources from elsewhere, because you would understand that part of what has been said, especially when we were dealing with the matter around extortion, where communities that were saying sometimes we want to come forward, however, we are constrained because we don't know whether we will be safe. So different phases and also other strategies that may assist in crime management in these areas, including setting up technological systems that communities may utilize to report crime, is part of what we're looking at in the short to long-term run, to make sure that we strengthen how policing and how crime management is dealt with in the province. But lastly, really condolences to the families that have lost their loved ones in the province, the families of those 17 people that have been shot, that including some families in the area of Umdantsane that lost young girls or little children that were dealing with a matter of food poisoning. So we are really sending our condolences to those families, and government will be getting closer to them to ensure that they are provided with psychosocial support, and also that they are assisted in any way possible, having followed all the processes that will be followed by government to come closer to the family and give them support and assure them that government is in solidarity with them through this difficult time.
Thank you so much, Khuselwa Ranjie, sharing her insights on the government's response to the Lusikisiki tragedy, also committing that the government will do all it can to assist the bereaved families.